governments going under? Are you worried about war? What is your big worry?
I don't think I've ever discussed my war cycles with you. So I did cycles on war going back 3,000 years to the Nenner Empire. So it's the same thing as doing cycles on stocks. For your listeners, it's maybe interesting just to see how something works. If you look at a war cycle of 100 years, because I predicted like now in the second decade of the century, we're going to have a big war. Now, if you go back 100 years ago, you had the First World War, but like up to the Second World War, which was a big war. Then 100 years before that, you had here a big war in 1812, and you had Napoleon in Europe in 1814. Now, if you Google, and he says, for instance, big wars around 800, around 700, around 600, you find some very interesting thing. You find the 100-year cycle, where in every second decade of a new century, there's a big war. So what keeps me up at night is the underestimation that we're going to have a big war. Why? Because the war cycles are up, and they didn't even show the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. They were too small to show up. So this has to be a war which is much bigger. So go to Google and go to start with the 600, 700, 800, and just say major war around 600, 700. It's an amazing cycle. It's only one of the cycles exists, just to show you how regular these things are.
And in this 100-year cycle, I guess the reason why you're really worried is because unlike any other 100-year cycle, let's see, 600 years ago, no nukes. 500 years ago, no nukes. 400 years ago, no nukes. 100 years ago, no nukes. Today, nukes. Is that why you're worried?
What you have is if you have a stock market cycle, you'll have price and time. And here you have time and the amount of casualties. And in every big war, the casualties go up exponential. So you can imagine what can happen.
And this is because of, you think, in this cycle, unlike any other 100-year cycle, this time there's the introduction of nuclear weapons, huge nuclear, and biological weapons for that matter.
Anything is possible.
Charles Nenner.
Well, there you had it. Charles Nenner, essentially predicting World War III. Now, I don't know if it's still up, but I had talked about previously about Mr. Mark Farber, another market maven, another market expert like Mr. Nenner, a guy who's had a lot of accuracy, a guy who's made a lot of good calls, a guy who's very provocative. He had said, I don't know, 10 years ago, 5-6 years ago, that World War III had already started. And that was reflected in a Russian parliamentary member in a video I watched yesterday. I have a friend on, not a friend, but I follow a guy on YouTube who presents a lot of Russian language videos and a lot of Russian language thinkers. And to say it mildly, they're concerned. They think that the Anglo-American establishment wants to wipe them out. This gentleman in this talk gave a figure of 30 million. In other words, he thinks that after the Anglo-American Empire gets through with Russia, they're going to be down to 30 million. And I believe their population is 150 million. I could be way off. And he compared what the Anglo-American establishment wants to do to them to what they did to our natives here in the U.S. He's saying that they want to totally wipe them out. And I mean, if you look at Africa and our continent, populations have been decimated, populations have been destroyed. They destroyed them. Not a very good record. Now, I looked at this. Now, Mr. Nenner had specifically spoke about cycles, and I looked it up, and I'm going to look it up again, but I didn't see his 100-year cycle. I didn't see it. I just saw war after war after war. As the Bible says, wars and rumors of wars, it just looked like war after war after war. I mean, I thought that was very interesting that he only went back to 1800. He didn't go back to 1700, 1600, 1500. He didn't. He didn't keep going. I mean, but Right now, whether or not he's correct, in my own thinking, the last time we had a global collapse like this, we had a world war. The last time, that's what they say. I have no idea how big this collapse was. I probably worried too much and overreacted, which I'm an overreactorator. But the last time we had a depression like this, like we did in 2008, we had a world war. And what they tell me, if you know anything about history, 100 years ago or 110 years ago, there were 7 world empires. Now we're down to 1. There were 7 great empires: the Ottoman Empire, the Russian Empire, the British Empire. We weren't even one of them. And they've all been consolidated. They've all been beaten, except the Russian Empire. So it just makes sense that this is what's going to happen, and this is coming. And this is very dangerous. This is very provocative. I mean, if you believe the New York Times and CBS and Fox News about the Ukrainian revolution just being something that just happened by chance, and that the CIA and these intelligent operative and intelligence forces weren't behind it, I don't see how you could believe it after you know what we've done. And I don't know. I don't see that Russia has ever been a power that runs out and invades people. I just wonder if they never knuckled under to the banking empire, and they're being punished for it, and they're going to be attacked. That's what they think, which I don't see it. I don't think they're foolhardy enough to do that. Russia has nukes. India has nukes. China has nukes. France has nukes. All these countries with nukes, nobody goes in there. Israel has nukes. So, I don't see it happening. But anyway, I'm scared. I'm a little frightened. Because I really don't want to see, I really don't see that happen. And I don't see how any reasonable, rational person would want that to happen. So anyway, let me know what you think. Bye.